The bottom line is the success rate for conventional detox that we have right now is about 4%. At best, let's be kind, at best it's 6%. So that's a 4 to 6% success rate for people getting off drugs. Any other industry on earth that had a 94% plus failure rate would be out of business almost immediately. It's not working at all. It's not producing results for the vast majority of people. So if you can take that 4 to 6% rate and turn it into 50 to 60% success rate, you have significantly moved the needle on an entire spectrum of problems, which is raining down not on just, Vancouver and Canada, the United States. We're in the midst of the worst opioid epidemic in all of history. And Ibogaine is something that can make a significant dent in that.
It's a worldwide problem. From China to Australia, it's not something that was created overnight. Big pharma systems of support and ongoing maintenance for these particular drugs that are getting back to where you were yesterday type of existence have got to be transplanted with better drugs and better systems like Ibogaine, helping people get through detox, and then a support system that makes sense, that emphasizes the positive.
The opiate crisis now has been morphing. The fentanyl now is the worst of the opiates that we had, the one that has the most overdose deaths and the one that's harder to quit because it's a stronger opiate. The problem with the addiction, especially something as bad as opiate addiction now with the fentanyl, is that it affects everything that's around him. The family members, the work, if they still have work. If not, society itself increases crime. The treatment center, we are now located in Cancun. We treat people with dependence on several drugs, most of them opiates, heroin, fentanyl, which is our big problem right now. Ibogaine blocks on opiate addicts the signs of withdrawal, and it decreases the cravings of using more drugs.
Hearing about Ibogaine and hearing that there was a way for me to try and get out of this lifestyle that was different from anything I had done before was such a relief. As skeptical as I was about it, and addicts are probably the most skeptical people ever, because they're constantly scheming themselves. I didn't actually even think that it worked after the first day when I was still not feeling well. But the next day after, just the relief of having that distance between myself and my addiction, and the first week home back in Canada, and the first week after that, and just the first incident that happened where it was stressful or upsetting, or anything that I would have done before where I would have just used that to use. I would have just, there was any excuse, that came up that I would have used in the past that I didn't even consider using now. I got through being ill. I went to the hospital, I got my IV fluids, I took care of myself. Well, I had really amazing people around me trying to that helped take care of me. Every day felt a little better. Within the first 2 days of being back, I knew that I wasn't interested in using opiates ever again.
We treat people here like you would do any other place that treats for people that are sick. I know that they're sick, and I'm going to try to help them. It's not an antagonistic thing. It's not judgmental. You have a problem, I'm going to try and help you as much as I can with your problem. It's not you against me. It's just both against the problem that you have.
You do need a medicalized environment. You need MDs present who are actually watching what's happening. You need good safety protocols. You need competence. Every medical procedure has risks, and if you weigh the benefits versus the risks, with drug-dependent individuals, I believe it's absolutely worthwhile. People die. If I look back at my friends from 20 years ago, it's a lot of dead people, a lot of people in prison. There's very few people who make it to to an old age when they're addicted to drugs.
Yes, I for sure have been sort of following Ibogaine as a substance of interest. The potential of Ibogaine from the anecdotal reports that have been provided by people who have had experiences with it suggests that it could be extremely useful in treating addictions in terms of providing the same kinds of insights that people report from drugs like LSD or psilocybin, a kind of life review, a perspective shift that can lead to long-term behavioral changes. And particularly with opioids, often people report a ceasing or an ending of their sort of cravings and sense of dependence on a drug that's otherwise very sort of sticky and difficult to come off.
With the strength of drugs today, fentanyl in particular, you have no chance of getting through detox without clinical and medical assistance. I hope at this point, what Patrick and his Clear Sky group are doing in Cancun today is nothing short of phenomenal. I'd say 45 to a 60% success rate. It involves a better aftercare system that is involved with life coaches, a glass half full approach, and the ability to help people clean up the wreckage of their past, which anybody with any addiction for any length of time has to do, and they have to do it without being overwhelmed. Anything that improves and the value adds a recovery system is worth doing.
So the plan is to hopefully open as many clinics as possible so they can administer Ibogaine safely and start making a dent on the opioid crisis.
I think that North America desperately needs some sort of pilot program, some sort of special exception to at least open up Ibogaine to some people. Because obviously what we have right now is not working. As of 2018, the leading cause of accidental death for people under the age of 50 is ODing on drugs. It has consistently gone up for years of time. And having been involved with Ibogaine treatment it's been a long time. It's been about 20 years for me now. And I've worked with hundreds of patients before Ibogaine, during, after, and people throw around all these different success rates, like Ibogaine is 80% effective, Ibogaine is 90% effective. It's 95% effective in providing a painless detox from whatever you're addicted to. Higher than 95% if you get some boosters. It'll just work. It will absolutely, unequivocally reset you.